You know what? I've actually always wanted to invest in real estate. And this is something I hear all the time as a real estate agent and a real estate investor. Now, I don't know if people just tell me this because they know I'm in real estate and they want to connect on some common ground, or maybe they just heard someone say it and they think it's a good idea, or maybe they actually want to do it, but they haven't taken that leap to actually becoming an investor. Because of course, most of the people that say that to me, when I ask them at a later date if they've done anything to move the progress towards investing, they always say no. Now's not really the right time for me, or now's not really the best market, I don't think. Here's something to understand with investing. First is there's many different types of investing, so you're going to choose which one you want to do, because you can buy multifamilies, acquire them slowly over time and build up a rental portfolio. You can do some flips, try making some quick money, and hopefully probably try to actually come out in the green and not in the red. Or you could see everything with Airbnb and say, hey, I want to buy some property so I can become a person on Airbnb and make money through that. So you're going to want to decide which way you're going to go on that. And in this video, I'm going to be talking mainly about the long-term investing game of buying multifamily properties, holding them over a long period of time and building up a rental portfolio, because this is the way I'm investing currently and what I've done the most research on, because it's what I'm doing currently. First thing is, there is no perfect time to invest in real estate. There never was, there's never going to be, because a perfect example of this is 2008. Everyone, again, being in real estate, I hear this all the time.
Oh, well, if I was buying houses in 2008, I'd be set by now.
Well, guess what? Most people weren't looking at buying houses in 2008 because they were freaking the fuck out, because all of America was going through economic troubles and the housing market was literally crashing crazy. People weren't thinking, hey, this is a great time to go buy some properties for cheap. They were wondering, oh my God, why is my property value going down so much? And then another one that's more recent is over the pandemic, interest rates hit an all-time low. And some people saw that as a good thing. Hey, I'm going to go buy a house, secure this low interest rate. While other people were like, yeah, interest rates are so low, but guess what? Prices are too high for me to buy. So there's no perfect time, and you're going to find that out. Because when dealing with the real estate market, it's almost like the stock market. You don't really know where it's going. It's unpredictable, but the thing with the real estate market is everything takes longer to actually develop, and you see the difference in, rather than the stock market kind of going day by day, week by week. This is more months and years that you're kind of watching out for. Of course, you can kind of put the general terms of, hey, it's a buyer's market, meaning it's a good time to be a buyer. Or, hey, it's a seller's market, it's a good time to be a seller. But you never really know where the top is or where the bottom is. You're kind of just guessing. Everyone says, oh, prices seem like they can never keep going up, but then they keep going up. And the hard part about it is, when houses are cheap, typically it's because there's some type of economic recession happening, which usually means that loans are harder to get, or they're a higher percentage of interest rates. And then the flip side of that is prices might be super high, but you can get in with a super low interest rate. And it's just one of those things where it's kind of a balancing act and you have to pick your battles. So that's why I think it's more, don't focus so much on the market and focus on the properties you're buying and the time you're buying them, and see if it makes sense then. The market's always shifting, because I bought my first rental property in 2019 and I was freaking out at the time. I thought, hey, this is way too much money for this small of a house. It's only a 2-unit property. I ran the numbers, they all made sense, everything worked out fine, but I was still having that like little bit of analysis paralysis getting into rental properties, becoming a landlord, and that was kind of my way of coping with it, is like, hey, I don't know if I should actually be doing this, maybe it's a little too high of a price, should we try getting something off? It was just one of those things, and now looking back 5 years later, well, guess what? Now the property has went up almost double from what I bought it in value, and it cash flows like a monster, because again, I bought it back then with that price, with those rental rates, and now I'm still locked in at that price and that mortgage, but I have today's rental rates and it works out much better in my favor. So since there's no perfect time to actually make a purchase in real estate, what should you be doing in the meantime? And I always suggest learning, because again, you're investing, but you're also like, being a landlord is kind of a job. It's not like a 40-hour-a-week job, but you still have to respond to your tenants and actually get work done, actually provide things. Like, it is a little bit of a side hustle that it's not passive income like everyone says it is. And again, this is a long-term game. So in the meantime, start learning and becoming proficient at analyzing properties and actually knowing how leases work, how to place tenants, how to screen tenants, pick up a book, watch YouTube like you're doing right now, listen to some podcasts. Maybe you know some people who invest in properties, try talking to them and see what they think about you getting in, how they would recommend you trying to get in. Because again, the hard part is a lot of people, especially first-time investors, I'm assuming you're a first-time investor or gonna be a first-time investor if you're watching this video, and the biggest challenge for the first-time investors is analysis paralysis, because they'll focus on learning and they'll focus on understanding how real estate investing works, how you should run the numbers, how it makes sense, but then once they're already pretty sure of themselves, they're almost so sure that they start second guessing themselves. Like, yeah, I ran my numbers conservatively and it makes sense, but like, I feel like I'm missing something, or I feel like now's not the right time in the market again. But if you have the cash, you've already learned everything you want to learn and need to learn to be able to run a property, and you found a deal that actually makes sense, you're gonna cash flow, it's gonna be a good investment, you just have to make that leap, go for it, and become an investor. Because this is a big reason why I love real estate investing so much, is because it's really a numbers game. Numbers do not lie. Now, with that said, numbers do not lie, but people do. So when you're putting in your numbers, running these deals, analyzing these deals, seeing, hey, will this one cash flow? Don't be lying on your numbers. All it's going to do is bite you in the butt, because if you go make a purchase, make an offer with those skewed numbers that you were running just because you wanted the deal to look better, and you go present an offer with it, well, guess what? When you actually go through with the purchase and the bills start coming and they're way different than what you ran your numbers at, that's not a good thing, because then you're going to be like, uh-oh, maybe this wasn't such a good deal. So I always try to run my numbers conservatively, see like what would be like the lowest I'd have to take for this to make it still make sense, and then kind of see where it is in today's market and be like, all right, if stuff switched and apartments weren't so needed right now, because right now in my market, you put an apartment up, you're getting tons of applications right away. So what if that shifted? What if I had to wait 3 weeks to get a good applicant? And you just want to run these scenarios because yes, right now it's a hot real estate market, but things change. So you want to be prepared for that, especially if you're getting a house that has a 30-year loan and you're doing it for an investment. You want to be prepared for the future. And when I was looking at my property that I bought, I was probably learning, reading, watching YouTube, running numbers on properties, and doing all that for at least minimum 1 year before I actually did it. Now, I was looking at properties about 6 to 8 months in, and I started looking kind of more seriously to actually get my feet on the ground in my local market, see what the houses were actually like in person, and kind of get familiar with that, so I was prepared to put in an offer when the time was right and I found the right deal. Because again, this is like one of those things where you want to learn everything you can, you do, but you don't want to keep saying, hey, I don't know this, so I'm not going to jump in. Because then you're just making excuses not to become an investor, even though you're probably more competent than half the investors that do have properties, because you have taken the time to learn, but you're feeling like you're missing something, even though you're just missing the property because you're not actually jumping on it. And then there's some waiting periods that you're going to have to struggle with, especially as a new investor. If you're going in without any partners and you're just going in on your own, you're going to have to take time to save the money for the down payments. And then maybe you already have the money saved and you're ready to go, but the deals that are in front of you don't make any sense. So you don't want to be forcing any deals. And then in a situation like where I'm at, I'm in the saving stage again because I bought my second one and now I'm saving for another one. And it's tough because whenever a multifamily pops up, I want to start analyzing the deal right away, see if it makes sense. But then it's hard because you don't want to be like, oh, I wish I could buy this. And you're like, uh-oh, I have no funds. Of course you can partner with people, but that's a personal preference. If you want to partner, feel free. I have not. I don't know if I will, maybe at some later date, but right now I'm just focusing on building my own portfolio and getting that off the ground before I jump in with other people, so that I'm actually a seasoned investor before I go talking and doing all that stuff with seasoned investors. Because I know a lot of the lingo, I know all the talk, and it's not that I'm necessarily afraid, I just know I'm not there monetary wise. So that's what I'm waiting for. Yeah, this was kind of just a quick video I wanted to make about getting into real estate investing, because everyone's like, well, I don't know if now's the right time. Well, now's never going to be the right time. Tomorrow's not going to be the right time. Yesterday wasn't the right time. The right time is when you actually put in a damn offer and get a house accepted and actually buy the thing. Then it's the right time. But until then, just keep doing everything you can to keep progressing towards your goal. Keep saving money. Even if you have enough saved, just keep saving. If it wasn't changing your lifestyle, just keep doing it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You have more funds once you buy your property? Good. You're going to need that. And then keep on learning. Like, yes, even if you know a ton of stuff, still keep learning. Keeping that stuff fresh in your mind helps a ton when you actually go out, look at properties, look at the disclosures, look at what they're getting for rents, and then when you know all this stuff and you're looking at these disclosures, you can be like, hey, that doesn't make sense. Why are they only saying that property taxes are $1,800 a year when I know every other house around here is $6,500 a year? That seems wrong, because if you ran your numbers there, well, it'd be all skewed. So you get to pick up on these things. And I just wanted to kind of put this video out there you're working on your own timeline. It's not like you're rushing to find a rental property for a certain purpose unless you're doing other stuff, but I'm not going to get into that side of investing. This is just to get in your first step, and it's just a lot of learning. And then once you learn, do not get stuck in analysis paralysis. I know it's easier said than done, but I was in it for a little bit and then I just had to jump. And sometimes it's helpful to get someone you know that is an investor to be like, no, this makes sense. You ran your numbers correctly. I looked over them. They look fine. If you can get this and this, you're going to be good. And it's just nice having a little bit of a backup to kind of secure what you're doing and feel more comfortable about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit all over the place, but I just wanted to give a little food for thought for any of you guys that are looking to jump into investing but just don't know when you should invest. So I will catch you guys next week.